Yeah, I had my own security, I didn't need nobody else. But I want to get this straight out there.
Yeah.
Colton Leach, Tony Tucker was not Nigel Benn's security.
Because
never. They was his friends.
Yes.
Right? Now, I've known Colton. I want to get a couple of things straight about this while I'm on this subject.
Yeah.
Right. Nigel Benn was friends with Tony Tucker and Colton Leach. I don't ever think he was friends with Tate. I don't think he ever met him.
No.
But a couple of things. Let's start from the very beginning. I never, ever went to one after party of Nigel Benn's.
Right.
Never.
Right.
Not my scene.
Yeah.
I used to meet my friends, Tony Sims, and a couple of other people come up to me and watch the fights. I get my accountant, I give them VIP tickets. Afterwards, we go and meet, we have a meal.
Yeah.
Nigel does his thing, Peter does his thing.
Yes.
Peter ain't living under the shadow of Nigel Benn, and all that rave music ain't my cup of tea. So I never went to one after party in any fight I worked for Nigel Benn. I'm not friends with Tony Tucker. I've known Colton Leach for over 40 years.
Yes.
Right? I've worked the door with Colton. So I know Colton, but I'm not his pal as such. Yeah? Right. So I've read the other day on, there's a somebody's put out on a post podcast the other day, excuse me, that I knocked out Tony Tucker. Roy Shaw beat up Tate, and I beat up I beat up Tony Tucker. Let me just say this, I've only ever met Tony Tucker 3 times in my entire life. And that's a fact. I don't lie. I've never had an argument with him, and I've never had a fight with him, and I've never laid a glove on him, and he's never laid a glove on me.
So where did all those rumours come from?
I don't know. I was shocked more than anybody. You know, I mean, I'm even getting brought up in the murder of the Essex Boys. No, I don't run with that, Pat.
No.
That ain't my kind of people I run with.
No.
I run with sensible people who know how to get a pound note. I don't want to be the local hard nut.
No.
You know, I'm running with the proper people. When I go to work properly. I don't go out bullying people for 50 quid or 100 quid, you know, or a bag of Smarties. That ain't my game.
No.
I go to work proper if I go to work.
So that is, you can completely put that rumour...
Yeah, I just want it out there that it's not true.
Yeah.
A few people have messaged me, is it true, And I said, no, I'm doing a podcast in a couple of weeks. You'll listen to the podcast and you'll hear it. So this is the first time it's gone out there. I've only ever met Tucker 3 times. I've never laid a glove on him, and he's never laid a glove on me. And he was Nigel Benn's friend, not Peter Defreitas'.
Yeah. So did they used to walk him out on the ring and stuff like that?
They done it, I think it's one fight they done it. The McClellan fight. They never walked him out before that. Only my brother, Dave, and my friend Kenny and Noah, 2 brothers, they were the security. That's it.
Yeah, it's kind of built up, isn't it? That they were always walking
Why
him out.
did he need the security? I've got 200 police officers there if I need them. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I obviously had personal security around him for after the fights and before the fights or whatever, just like 2 or 3. That's it. But my brother Dave was one, and my 2 mates, Kenny and Noah. They were the other 2 black guys, that worked for me, who were my friends, personal friends. And that's it. There was never nobody else.
No.
You know, all the others, he just used to say, they must have said to Nigel, can we walk you out? And he's gone, yeah, all right. He's the boss at the end of the day. What he says goes. But he trusted me enough to do what I felt was right without him getting involved.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a myth.
It is all a myth.
Yeah.
Absolute myth. But I just don't want to go on there and start debating with people and people winding me up because I'm not that type of person who'll suffer that shit. No. You understand? So I don't want to start debating with anybody in the first place because my temper would go, and that's why I keep off social media a lot.
Yeah. You'd be so good on social media, you know that, because you're so informed about boxing. And
look, I know what goes on in the streets.
Yes.
North London, South London, West London and East London. I know all what goes on the streets. I know everybody that matters. Yeah. That's one thing I do. But I don't go around like I'm a great big bully or I'm a villain. I'm not.
No.
I'm just a guy that was game, that earned a reputation from having a scrap, a good scrap, and I could have a fight. That's it. I'm not nobody special. I'm just Peter. And that's how I like to be. So I'm 5 years older than Nigel. I started advising him. Yeah. So one day he just turned around to me and he said to me, well, why don't you do it then? Like that. So I said, well, okay, not a problem, Nigel. Because I went out there basically not to be his bodyguard, because I mean he can look after himself. I mean he's a fighter, for God's sake. But what it is, he can't afford to get in them situations. His hands are his living. Yes. So I went out there to make sure there was no trouble, and basically I was security, but in a different way than people say I'm his bodyguard. I wasn't his bodyguard. He don't need bodyguards. And what happened was we went out to fight Mauro Galvano. That's right.
Yeah.
to Tenerife. Now, Barry Earn was our promoter at the time.
Yes.
So we said, like, we're going to training camp, we're going to fight, get ready for Mauro Galvano. And then I get a phone call from Barry Earn saying, Pete, the fight's off. I said, do what? I said, he's going to go fucking apeshit. This is like, sorry about swearing.
Yeah,
he's going to go apeshit. So I was gone, this is like 3-4 weeks into the camp. I said, are you going mad? So I said, so anyway, he said, well, you've got to tell him he's off. Mauro Galvano has had a row with his manager and split up with his manager, and he don't want to fight because the fight was supposed to be in UK.
Yeah.
So I've gone into his room and I said, look, I'd sit down, and I'll never forget, in the living room was a big round coffee table with a glass coffee table in the middle. Anyway, Jimmy Tibbs was there, me and Nigel, and I've gone, Nigel, I've got some bad news, mate. So he's gone, what? So I've gone, the fight's off. You ain't joking, are you? I said, he said, you joking? I went, no. He went, what's fucking going on? You know, what's going on? So I said, Galvano's fallen out with his manager, and now he's on his own, he don't want to fight. So he's gone crash with his hand right through the glass. I thought, oh no, he's going to cut his hand up here. But he didn't, thank God, not a cut.
Yeah.
So he's gone, Pete, get the next flight home and sort it out. I want that fight. I don't care where it is. Put the tent up, put the ring up in his back garden. He said, I don't care. So I said, okay. I said, but you know, if we go to Italy and fight him, you need 2 knockouts to get a draw. So he said, yeah, I don't care. I'm going to smash him. So I said, okay. So went back to Barry Earn. I said, and I basically, in a way, I put it on Barry Earn. I said, this fight's got to happen. I said, I'm going to stay here till you come and tell me that it's on, and then I can fly back and tell him. I said, he's in training camp, still training. I've told him to carry on training because I've got full confidence in you to sort it out. He called me in after about 2 days. He said, Pete, the fight's on, but it's in Italy.
Yeah.
I said, I don't care. I said, is it 100% on? He said, yes, I've got the fight in Italy. Done. So I said, okay. Flew all the way back. I said, I've got the fight. Oh, Nigel cuddled me and it was great, and all that. Yeah, and we went out there, we done the business. Nigel Benn is the new champion of the world, and he got it. Fantastic. But we had to have we had a rematch clause in there, didn't we? So we had to have a rematch clause. Yeah. That was the only one of the options, stipulations I had to do was put a rematch in it for Galvano. Yeah. So I can't say no, I wanted to fight. So Nigel went, oh, you should never have do a rematch, Pete. I said, Nigel, you wouldn't have got the fight if I didn't do it. Because he nearly got knocked out in the last round on the rematch.
Yeah, that's right.
Right at the last bell. 30 seconds to go, he got chinned on the ropes. Oh. So, yeah, so...
when did you kind of officially take over? Was
this is what I was going to say. This is just after that. The Eubank was at the ringside, and he's gone, oh, now we can do business and all this and all that. So that all went on. Yeah. So me and Eubank never got on. No. He used to go to me, what are you doing here? Why are you here? What? I said, I'm his manager. What are you talking about? What am I doing here? You know, I'm his licensed manager. I'm his only licensed manager. Yes. You know, I said, I'm his licensed manager. What are you talking about? I said, listen, without me, you don't get no fight. Yeah. At the time, Barry Earn didn't have the money to put that fight on. They got hold of Frank Warren and they got hold of Don King, who was doing business at the time. So Don King had the money. Frank Warren didn't have the money at the time either. Yeah. So what they needed, because Don needed an English promoter to put on the fight here, it had to be a freeway traffic. That's why you always see a photo of Barry and Frank Warren and Don King together. That's because they was amalgamated to make this one fight. But Don King put the money up. So before the fight, I flew over to Nigel in Marina del Rey for the weekend, and I said to him, look, how much? We had a sit down and a chat. I said, what sort of money do you want to fight Chris Eubank in a rematch? So I said, because I think I can pull the fight off. Yeah. So he goes, yeah, I'd like to fight him back again, Pete. He said, I want to show him that I can beat. He trained like a champion last time. I didn't. He said, but this time I will. So he gave me a figure, right? So I said, so if that's what you want then? So he said to me, I can say this figure because it's well known what he got anyway. So he came up with a figure about 600 or 700 grand he would have been happy with to fight at the time. Yes. That's a lot. That was a lot of money 30 years ago. Yeah. So I turned around and I said to him, I'll tell you what to do, Nigel. I'll make a deal with you. So he said, what's that, Pete? So I said, if I get you £1 million to fight Chris Eubanks, you make me your licensed manager. Yeah? So he looked at me and he goes, he thought for about a minute and he went, okay, Pete. He said, but on condition that it's for a 12-month period, not 3 years, because the license is free. A manager's agreement is 3 years, but obviously you can stipulate if. So like Nigel's the boss, obviously. I work for him, so whatever he said, it was just trust basically. And also obviously I wanted to be his manager. Yes. So he said, yeah, okay, Pete. He said on a 12-monthly basis, I'll renew it every 12 months, providing it's sweet. So I said, yeah, that's fine, Nigel. Yeah. And that was good, and that's how it was, and that's how I got the manager's job with him, because I got him £1 million for the fight.
And of course, I mean, you've not been a manager before, or anything.
One good thing I've got is a brain. I am very, very intelligent, believe it or not. I've got a fantastic boxing knowledge. I've got fantastic knowledge on boxing, and I can go back from day dot. You know, I know a lot about boxing. I've studied it. You know.
What did you think about the fight itself?
I thought he was robbed.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? I mean,
without doubt.
Point taken off, didn't he?
He had a point taken off. And it was a blow which wasn't really low. Larry kind of made us, before the fight, he went like bomb bomb, and Eubank's shorts are always up here. Look at all these fights are up his navel, above his navel, and the line, as you know, is the navel and below. And Nigel didn't. It was a legal blow, but anyway, the fight got deducted. But even without that, it wasn't. It weren't no draw. Listen, do you know how bad it was? I'll tell you how bad it was. There was complaints about it from all the fighters and different people around the world.
Yes.
And what happened was the WBC, they got 6 Asian judges, WBC judges, to watch the fight who hadn't seen it without any volume.
Yeah.
And all 6 picked Nigel Benn the winner.
Yeah.
Not one picked Chris Eubank as the winner. So it shows you who won.
So how did Nigel react to the result?
He was absolutely gutted. He was fuming. He wouldn't even stay in the ring all day for an interview. He walked straight back to the dressing room at Old Trafford.
Yeah.